Hey everyone, Brian Castro with eXp Realty and Call Castro here again, talking about all the steps to buying a home. Last time we talked about the first step, which was finding a realtor. Today we're going to talk about the second step, which is finding a lender and getting pre-approved. So when you're going to look at a house, the most important thing to get before we really go and look at houses is getting the pre-approval letter. The pre-approval letter is going to tell us what our budget is, how much we can get loaned to us. And really, without attaching a pre approval, especially in the market as hot as it is right now, nobody's going to consider your offer. You have to have a pre approval. So, to get pre approved, we have to find a lender, right? So, what is the best way to find a good lender? Number one way to do almost all of this, and my advice to you for almost all of the rest of this process, is going to be talk to your realtor. Your realtor has done, hopefully, a few transactions, right? Hopefully, a lot more than a few transactions. So they are going to have experience with lenders who have dropped the ball and lenders who have done a really good job. And they will be able to tell you exactly who they like. Now, who they like might actually not be necessarily the best lenders in town. You need a lender that gets along with your realtor and who will work together as a team to get your transaction closed. So you might have the best lender around, but they don't get along with your realtor. That's bad news, right? Or you might have, frankly, a bad lender, but for whatever reason, they work great with your realtor. That's great too. That works fine. But for the sake of talking about the difference between lenders, right? Let's look at the differences between a bank. I'm going to group together the bank and the credit unions because, from my perspective, they're about the same, uh, and mortgage lenders. So, the bank, when you walk in and talk to the person, first and foremost, when we work with them, a lot of times we get a 1-800 number. I hate that. I hate pressing one to continue and then three to talk to this person and then four to finally get connected. Then you get the voicemail. It's, to me personally, probably the most infuriating thing in the world. Compare that to a mortgage lender. Very often they will give you a direct line to their cell phone. And if anything comes up, you can call them right then and there. And that is huge because sometimes problems will come up on weekends or something will come up on a holiday after 6 p.m. You know, and if you have the direct line to the lender or to your person in charge of your mortgage, we can fix it. If that deadline comes up and we need to talk to the lender and we can't and it has to wait until Monday, sometimes the deal will just die. Sometimes that's the end of the transaction. Not always. A lot of the time you can get through it with the bank, but sometimes it is. So, what's another big difference? Another big difference is how they get paid. Why am I asking you? You can only hear me, right? I can't hear you. But one of the biggest differences is how they get paid. At banks, very often the people there are salary and they get bonuses on commission. Sometimes they get bonuses. Not even some don't even give the bonuses. So they don't necessarily even have incentive to really work hard to help you. And a lot of the time, the money that they are dealing with is the money that belongs to the bank. Now, a mortgage lender is going to put you together with a program very often, and they're going to be paid a commission. So they only get paid to close deals. They get zero if you do not get closed. And that means they're going to be working as hard as your realtor to get the transaction closed, which, as a realtor who only gets paid when the transaction closes, is great because I want the house to close and you want the house to close and you to be able to move in. We want a lender that's on the same page. So you're going to want a mortgage company of some kind. Now, if it was my client, what I would do is I would tell them, here's three, right? Here's three people I work well with and that are local. You can walk into the office and talk to them. And at that point, I leave it up to my clients. Now, generally, from my perspective, all three lenders I recommend are people that I recommend, that I work together well with, and that if my client were to pick any of the three, uh, everything would go great, at least on my end. So, what you should do when you're given these three lenders is you should probably call all three of them, honestly. Uh, Ask them what their rates are. Ask them just general questions. See if you like them. See if you like working with them. I've got certain lenders that are just blunt, right? And will tell you exactly how it's going to be, and sometimes in a way that's kind of harsh. And if you're a certain type of personality, that's fantastic and you love that. And maybe if someone has a better deal by a fraction of a percent, who cares? You really like this guy. Or maybe you like someone like Beth from my other videos, and she's the sweetest. She's so nice and knowledgeable. And when you work with someone like that, maybe that's the kind of personality you need. You're a first time home buyer and you really need someone to be gentle and walk you through the process. Or maybe that doesn't work for you and you completely like someone else. So make sure you take a look at all three of the lenders seriously. See if you like their policy on how you talk to them and how they talk to you. Maybe they don't even answer your call. Maybe that's your deciding factor, right? You try to get a hold of a lender and they don't answer, and that's that. So try them. Figure out which one you like the most. You do get into the nitty gritty sometimes of who has the better deal, who has the better program, all that kind of stuff. From a realtor perspective, I don't know everything about that, so it's going to be mostly up to you to talk to them and figure out what terms you like best personally yourself and compare the programs that the lenders have. Some will have different down payment options, some will have different um, percentage rates, APR, some will have different point rates, right? So it's all going to cost different amounts, and that's going to vary somewhat between lenders. In my experience, not a lot. Um, the bigger difference there you might run into is that sometimes certain lenders can pre-qualify you and some can't. So shop around some, but the personality is probably more important. But the most important thing above all else is finding someone that your realtor really jives with and gets along with. And that is going to be step two, how you pick your lender. If you have any questions, give me a call. Brian Castro, callcastro.com. Look forward to chatting with you.